Hello, everyone. You are listening to your Palm Beach Guide with the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce today. My name is Kiana Rivera, and I'm the Vice President of Membership here at the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce. And today, our guest is Javier Fernandez at Transitional Designs. So, Javier, thank you for having us. We are going to go through a little bio about him real quick, so stay tuned, and here we go. When it comes to creating a stylish home, it takes more than just a keen eye to transform your space. And according to experts, there's one home design mistake that virtually everyone makes: choosing furniture that isn't the right fit for the room. A common design mistake I frequently encounter is either the overcrowding of a room with gigantic furniture or the opposite, a completely bare looking space, says Javier Fernandez, an interior designer at Transitional Designs. If you're not paying attention to the size of the room and how much or how little space your furniture will occupy, you'll end up with a room that is either overwhelmed or underutilized, he says. Before you start picking out furniture, Fernandez recommends thinking about the functionality of the room that it's intended for, measuring the furniture you're considering purchasing or moving, and ensuring that there is enough empty space around each piece to keep the room walkable. Remember, measure twice and design once, he says. So I love that. Javier, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know that you've been in the business for quite some time, so we will definitely touch on that. But I want to go back all the way to the beginning of when you were in school and you were thinking, what am I going to do with my life? How do I even know where I'm supposed to go? All of those questions that we ask ourselves when we're graduating high school and we're like, okay, now what?
Yes.
So walk me through that.
So, when I've been in this business since I was 15 years old. My parents had a paint store. It was wall covering, window treatments, art supply, and of course paint.
Okay.
And I grew up in the business. However, I never thought that this is what I would be doing.
You were like, anything but this. My goodness.
But I did fall into it. As I was working in the business, I really loved. I looked through the books, and I created a passion for it. And I had a knack for it. And I remember when I was a kid, doodling, not paying attention in school, doodling rooms.
Yes.
In my family, like my aunt, she has really, really good taste. So that kind of inspired me as well. But again, when you're 18, you graduate from high school, what am I going to do?
Right.
So I went to school for business.
Where did you go?
Jersey City State College.
Are you from up there?
Yes.
Okay,
I am from
great.
New Jersey, and
nice.
I hated it.
Oh, no.
So then I went to work in the city.
Okay.
Doing an internship, and I thought I was going to be a buyer. B. Altman and Company, you're too young to know it. They were on 34th and 5th, and they offered me a buyer's position. And so my manager said to me, you know what, go back and work for your family. This company's going to go under.
It's going to, yeah.
And so I did. I went back.
Did it go under?
It did.
Oh, look at that.
Like
Great advice.
Years, yes. And so then I went back to work for my father. And the good thing, my father was really good in terms of he gave us a lot of responsibility in purchasing and doing things of that sort. And I just would give people consultations with paint colors, and then I would go to their homes and sell them window treatments, help them with floor plans, and sell them design. And then I branched out on my own in 2003, and here I am.
And here you are. Yeah. Wow. So how long have you?
2003, 20 plus years.
Jeez, yeah. That's incredible. And what brought you to Florida? How long have you been in Florida?
Well, Florida, my family were snowbirds.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a place for 33 years on the island.
Wonderful.
And so we used to come here often, but I used to say I'm never coming. But I did. And, as you never say never, and as you get older, your tastes change.
Right.
And I just love it. In 2016, opened an office here before the mad rush, and now all the New York-based designers are opening.
Well, you're a trendsetter. You were way ahead of everybody. And they're all following you. That's what it is.
And then I started in Boca, and then I moved myself up to on Dixie.
Great.
Where all the designers are.
Yeah.
And I love it. I mean, what's not to love it about work? It's like, for me, my business is not even like work. I love what I do.
Good.
And so, and then you walk outside and you're like, oh my God, palm trees make me very happy.
I know. And the sun and the sunshine.
And right now, even off season, I love it even more because that's when we work here.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're getting your
all
clients' homes ready for the season. And I love it. It's quiet and I feel like I have the whole town to myself.
Right. So walk me through a little bit about when season happens. So right now is your busy season. It's almost opposite.
Right.
And because you're getting ready for when they all come home, what is the ideal client for you when it comes to whether is it mainly residential or do you do
I do
also
both? But mostly residential.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
So walk me through, if I'm buying a home, how do I find you?
Usually all my business is all referral.
Okay.
They've seen my work
Great.
at a friend's home, and then they call me, so they already know
They know your style.
my style, and
Great.
And usually a good referral.
Right.
In terms of the way I work and whatever communication and all that. And then we meet. I interview them. They interview me. I ask them what their lifestyle is.
Right.
If it's formal, if it's informal. Most people today is very informal.
Right.
And what their tastes are and what their needs, because they're trusting you with their home, and that's where they spend a lot of time and entertain and raise their children. And for me, comfort is key, and then everything else falls into place. Picking out beautiful pieces of furniture, textures,
Right.
carpets.
Well, and you have the mind to just be so creative. I think you can really help. I know something that I have a hard time with, and I forget who I was talking to about this, but I am not the seer that you guys are.
You have to have a visual. I see a room.
Right.
And I know unfortunately.
I cannot do that.
A very critical mind.
That's good though.
And then when you see a room, I know exactly I can visualize what the
Right.
result is. And it usually turns out better than
what you envisioned.
Than what my vision. And scale, as you were saying in that meeting that you did earlier, scale is very important. So rule of thumb in design is you take your largest wall and your big elephant, whether it's a bed in a bedroom or sofa, and then smaller pieces around it. Usually in a living room, it's either a C or an O. So everything is very intimate, and then you add everything else on a smaller scale so you don't overwhelm the room.
Right.
I like to fill a room, but not make it look
too cluttered
and oversized pieces that don't work.
Right. Absolutely. I love that you touched on that. Scale is very important. So real quick, you were listening to Your Palm Beach Guide with the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce, and our guest today is Javier Fernandez with Transitional Designs. So walk me through a little bit when you came to Palm Beach and you said you've been coming here for a long time between your parents, and you mentioned something early on, the importance of referrals. And that's how you get clients.
Yes. You establish a relationship with your clients that you wind up being very friendly. Like, for instance, we just had dinner with my clients that are snowbirds, and I'm working on their home in Palm Beach Gardens.
Oh, wonderful.
Had dinner with them. They invite you to all their parties. But the thing is you have to have communication. You have to keep them informed either every week or every other week, and always be accessible. Pet peeve of mine is not answering the phone.
Yeah.
And my clients call me 7 days a week.
All the time.
I was in Europe and Spain, and my clients were calling me asking questions.
And you're like, hello, how can I help you?
But you have to do it. It's your business. So.
Well, I think too, because you have that, I think that's the biggest difference with business owners versus, maybe other team members, a part of a business, is that you have the biggest investment in this work and in this brand because it is you, and there isn't anything else or anyone else that can represent your company as well as you can.
That's right.
And I think that just when I see you, when I talk to you, that brand and who you are goes into that business. And that's why I think you're so successful, is you've just carried that. I mean, it's amazing.
And it's also establishing good relationships within the industry, surrounding yourself with people, contractors, communicating with them, but also surrounding yourself with really good people, a team to work with, having good relationships, that they show up.
Right, they show up
done.
exactly.
Listen, Mistakes will happen.
Right.
But it's how you approach it, how you resolve it, and it's the end result that counts. Because, things are going to happen. You're going to make mistakes, or people make mistakes. Of course, you're responsible for them, but if you have a good team, you'll fix it. It's just
and most of the time I've noticed that even if mistakes do happen, when you come back with a solution that says, look, I know I messed up on this, but here's what I can do to fix it.
To own it.
Right. Every client, every customer is always usually pretty generous when it comes to forgiveness, and because they understand, it's when you come back with an aggressive mindset that it's like, whoa, I don't want to do business with you anymore.
Right. Or if I have somebody that said not too long ago said to me, well, it's not my fault. I said, that's the wrong answer.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
the wrong answer. Fix it.
Right. Fix it and make it better, because you're representing something bigger than whatever this is right now. It's I forget, we had somebody on that was like, if you have a sandwich maker, you're only as good as the last sandwich you made.
Right. And this is true
it's
for
very
every
true.
business, even this business.
Right.
And so, you need to step up to the plate, and you need to be responsible and professional. And communication.
100%. 100%.
Communication is key.
Yeah. So walk me through real quick. What is one project that you completed or even are working on right now that you looked at and you're like, this is like the creme de la creme. I'm so proud of this project.
A project I did in New Jersey.
Oh, see, you knew that immediately. Good.
Yeah,
tell me the story. Walk me through it.
First of all, it was carte blanche. Second of all, he's actually, I was supposed to have lunch with him tomorrow at the surf club, but he canceled because the weather, obviously, and the weather up north is not that good.
Yeah.
But he said, listen, we have no taste. And I said, that's the best client. The worst client is the one that says they have taste and they have no taste.
They have no taste.
So it's very, very difficult to work with people like that. But he was amazing. He let me do whatever I want. And his house is, we're trying to get it published. It's
no
beautiful.
way. Okay.
It's a beautiful, beautiful home. And I'm very proud of it. Everything is detailed. If I told him in my travels, I would say, Neil, listen, I found this piece of art, or I found this. What do you think? I send him a picture, goes, get it.
Oh, that's fabulous.
So it was great, and he's very proud of his home.
Right.
And it looks fantastic. As a matter of fact, I have to go back there now
for
an installation of outdoor furniture.
Oh, even better. Well, I think, too, what's pretty amazing is that when you have that eye, again, I go back to it, I have no eye, and I own it.
That's what we fall into place.
Yeah.
And guide you and try and make them trust you.
Right.
That's another big part of this.
Right.
Sound confident. When people ask you a question, said, do you think it's going to look good? I said, I know it's going to look good.
Yes.
Because I know it's going to look good.
You do. Absolutely.
And they don't want to see any doubt from you.
Right. 100%.
They want you to be confident in your decisions and what you do, and that makes them feel comfortable.
Right. 100%. And kind of walk me through again, when you're working on a project, and they already have existing pieces, but let's say that you're like, this just really has to go. This has lived its time in this home. Someone else will love it, or you just get rid of it.
Well, for instance, a lot of clients inherit pieces from their grandmother or mother or whatever. And I had one project once that it was a piano and had to design a living room around this piano. And the piano was really ugly.
Yeah.
But,
pianos are giant.
Yeah. It held sentimental
Right.
value to her. So you make it work. You never want to tell a client, no, I think this is awful.
Right.
You try to make it work unless it really is awful, or say, maybe we can put this in the furniture cemetery.
You're right, furniture cemetery. I love that.
In the basement or the attic or something, because you know it's not going to work.
Right. I love that.
And you don't want to insult them. You don't want to offend them.
Right.
Because it holds them. And usually, my clients, the pieces that they inherit are usually really nice pieces.
Right, 100%.
So you just update it with a new mirror, an artwork, a lamp, a vase, accessories, whatever.
Right. Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah.
When it comes to now, since you're based on Dixie, do you, though, still have clients in New York? Do you have clients down south? I mean, tell me.
The majority of my clients are clients from up north that have seasonal homes.
Great.
But then those clients have friends here that live here all year round.
Great.
And they've seen what I've done for them, so they, it's a word of mouth.
It's a word of mouth.
You can do as much advertising as possible. It's your own advertising.
100%.
Yeah. And joining the chamber was great because I've met,
oh, good.
besides you and Doug, who were great, I've met so many people at the chamber. I didn't know anybody a couple of years ago.
Oh, no way.
And now I go to all the industry parties and stuff, and I've met a lot of designers that I didn't know before.
Right.
And it's great. I don't find any competition.
Good.
It's a big enough niche
for
everybody, and you all get along and we all help each other.
Well, I think that's something that's really unique to our market. I always say, I heard this from someone who I really admire. She said, there's enough sunshine to go around. Always. Oh. And it's very true because the chamber specifically, we have over 500 members and young professionals are at 200. So like 800 members total.
Right.
And it's like, those are a lot of businesses that all need business. Right. And I think as a business owner, if it's not the right fit for you, that doesn't mean it's not a right fit for somebody else.
Right.
And you have to be the leader to know when to release that because something else will come along. And I just think you're a huge testament to that from what you said.
And the trustees.
Good, yes. Do you love the trustees or do you hate it?
No, I really love it. And I was really honored that you asked me to be part of that because I know that you only get selected.
Yeah.
But
I just think you're such a good fit. I really do.
I met so many really great people that we've become very friendly and just great. It's a great professional group.
Good. And I hope so. And I think just if you're unfamiliar with our trustee group, we select 80 C-level executives that meet 6 times a year, usually for lunch. And the programming, we try to make it different than what you experience at the breakfast. Sometimes there is some overlap if there's like a really key speaker, like a Guy Harvey. But whereas the Guy Harvey program we had at the breakfast, well, then you go to the lunch and he's just sitting, talking to you, having a conversation like this.
Absolutely.
So we create a more intimate environment, but an intimate environment that doesn't involve tons of sales pitches.
Yes.
There's nothing worse than being pitched to
like a car dealer.
Oh my gosh, like a car dealer, 100%. So I think that we've really tried to create that space, and I'm glad that you've enjoyed it.
And I went to the ladies' luncheon because my wife, Meg, and that was great.
Did you love it?
I get along really well with women.
Good.
This is the majority of my clients, and I met so many really great women there, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, just because you brought it up again, if you don't know the Women's Leadership Council, we launched that in the month of February of 2024, and that is for everyone who, especially women in business, to come together and network, but to be supportive. There's nothing worse than catty women, man. Nothing.
You mean like the housewives?
Seriously, it's like straight up the housewives.
Yes, it really is.
And there's
no need for that.
There isn't. And we have created with the leadership there between Tina and Susan, Astrid and Renya, and just
Astrid
Gabby.
has become very friendly.
Good,
yes,
good. She's a great person to know.
I love her.
Great person to know. And I think, too, just the attitude that we all have when we go in there. It's whether you're a master at whatever you're providing or you still have an opportunity to learn. Right. That lifelong learning attitude is really important for me.
And you know what? I really never knew that networking was so important.
Right.
I mean, I have always done it.
Yeah.
Not to this scale. I'm exhausted.
I know. It's a lot. It's a lot. I tell you what, we hit right about now. Like we hit it, I think, in April. But especially now where it's just like, take a breather for 1 second because it is exhausting. You show up and you show up well every time.
Yes.
And that's a lot.
Yeah, especially at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Right. 7 o'clock in the morning. Early bird. Well, and it always surprises me that people show up ready.
Yes.
And I got to be like, it's not open yet. Can you wait out? Can you wait out there at check-in?
Lots of caffeine.
Right. And then I said, okay, the floodgates open and everybody goes for coffee. But at least we keep it fun. So
yes,
I love
great.
that.
Yeah.
Again, you're listening to Your Palm Beach Guide. We are the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce, and our guest today is Javier Fernandez with Transitional Designs. As we close, Javier, what is one piece of wisdom or advice, I guess, but I say wisdom because people shouldn't give advice all the time because they're not, unless it's right. So the wisdom of just from where you started to where you are now, and something that has really just stuck with you through every season of life, whether it was a really high point in your career or a really low point in your career, what's one thing that always kept you focused on the goal ahead?
I used to put in my car a little sticky that said, never give up.
Oh, I love that.
And I've read that the most successful people are the ones that try and fail, and finally they succeed.
Right.
Because you can't give up.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Javier.
And putting the time in and throwing yourself into it, because that's the only way you learn.
Right, 100%. And don't be fearful.
Yeah,
right?
No,
Don't be fearful.
Not be fearful.
I think that's so important. But all right. Well, I think we have it. Thank you, Javier, for being on today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yes, I appreciate it.
And you can, if you want to learn more about Javier and Transitional Designs, you can visit his website. You can visit the Chamber's website. I'm happy to make an introduction. So just holler if you have any questions. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.